had you come here 30 years ago, people would have touched the vine twice, pruning and harvesting. That was it. Today, pruning is much more serious than ever before, which is the most important element.
As autumn approaches, the grapes begin to ripen, changing from the hard green berries to yellow-green, pink, and soft blue colors of ripe grapes. This transitional stage, called veraison, is a time when more sugar will be produced and stored within the berries. In early autumn, when the process is complete, growers begin checking the grapes on a daily basis for ripeness. What they're looking for is an optimal balance between sugars and acid within the grapes.
23 bricks, 23.
Unlike some other fruits, grapes will not continue to ripen once they're picked from the vine. Selecting the right moment to harvest is the most critical decision in the grower's year.
You were saying another few weeks?
Yes, I would think maybe almost a month.
Yeah.
In cooler growing regions like Ontario, the fall weather can be highly unpredictable, making the decision to harvest all the more critical. Along with their years of experience, today growers have turned increasingly to technological advances like remote weather stations to help predict local weather patterns. A heavy rainfall during the harvest phase can advance rot and disease or waterlog the fruit, which dilutes their sugars. In warm climate regions, growers can generally rely on favorable dry conditions at harvest. This results in consistent ripening of fruit from one vintage to the next. When the sugars in the grape have reached their peak, the harvest can begin. While the vineyards of the north are blanketed under snow, the warm months of February and March mark the harvest in the southern hemisphere. This is a time of frenzied activity as communities come together to make the year's wine. Everyone participates here. This is the culmination of months of hard work in the vineyards and a race to collect the fruit at its peak. For many producers, the best method for selecting and picking grapes is manual harvesting, a process as old as winemaking itself. Crews of pickers will move from row to row, cutting grape bunches off the vine with shears. In the Bordeaux region of France, where many wineries have achieved an almost legendary status, only the highest quality fruit is hand-picked, leaving any inferior grapes behind. But when it comes to the immense vineyards necessary for large-scale production, mechanical harvesters are unmatched in efficiency. First developed in the 60s, the mechanical harvester has replaced hand-picking in the majority of the world's vineyards today. These machines straddle the rows of vines, gently shaking the grapes loose. Their hoppers are then emptied into bins for transport to the wineries. The arrival of the fruit at the winery marks an important transition in the winemaking process. The grower, who's nurtured the grapes to fruition throughout the season, must place his bounty in the trust of the winemaker. The winemaker will now transform the fruit through vinification into finished wine.